Okay, let's jump in. Think about this. You're somewhere new, maybe need a shirt, right? But actually walking into a shop and talking in English, it can feel, well, pretty daunting. It's such a common thing people run into.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. And mastering those sort of basic everyday interactions, that's huge for confidence.
Yeah, if you can handle buying something simple, it kind of unlocks other stuff, doesn't it?
Totally. It makes everything else feel a bit more possible.
So for this deep dive, we've got this really interesting source. It's a beginner English dialogue, specifically about shopping for clothes. You know, customer Sarah, shop assistant Alex, standard setup.
Right. And our goal here, it's pretty straightforward, but I think really useful. We want to pull out the key phrases, the must-have words,
Yeah.
and the interaction itself, how it works. So you can grab that and, well, use it, like straight away.
Exactly. The source kind of lays out the typical flow, asking for help, sizes, fitting rooms,
Right.
price checks, actually buying the thing.
And it's interesting how it points out its own teaching tricks.
Yeah, like the slow speaking, the repeating bits,
Uh-huh.
and focusing on being polite. Excuse me, can you help me? Stuff like that. Using can and would.
What really stands out to me is that it's not just words. It gives you the structure, like a map for the conversation.
Yeah, a map. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So let's break down what it gives you. The essential words first.
Definitely.
The source really nails the basics. Shirt, pants, size, right? Fitting room, price. Your core vocabulary.
Those nouns are fundamental, yeah.
But you need to do things.
Right, so the expressions.
Exactly. The source quickly gets to things like, can I try this on? Or, do you have this in a larger size?
How much is this?
Yeah. And then the final bit, I'll take it. Simple, but crucial.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting for learning, I think. The source presents these, often slowly, maybe it repeats them. Why is focusing just on these phrases from this one dialogue so effective for someone starting out? Well, it taps into something really important about language learning. It gives you language in chunks, tied to a specific situation.
Chunks.
Yeah, like you don't just learn try it on separately. You learn the whole unit. Can I try this on? Ready to go. It's sometimes called like chunking or situational learning. And it works because you get these pre-made phrases for the common steps.
So it's like having a mini script
Hmm.
for that specific interaction.
Exactly like that. And having that script, it really lowers the mental effort, the cognitive load.
Ah, okay. So you're not scrambling to build sentences.
Right. You're not translating word by word in your head. You just grab the chunk you need, which means you can focus more on like listening to the reply.
Which loops right back to building confidence. You feel more prepared because you have these phrases ready.
Yep.
And the source points out how it teaches this. What about the slow speed and the repetition it uses?
Super important at the start. The slow speed gives your brain time to process the sounds, the structure, before you hit the faster pace of real life. And repeating things, especially if you practice the dialogue a few times, like the source suggests, that's how those chunks shift from, just remembering them to actually using them automatically.
Building the muscle memory almost.
Kind of, yeah, for your brain. So the phrases just come out.
And the politeness, excuse me, can you? Why is that built in so clearly?
Because that's crucial for actually interacting with people. Learning polite forms, often using can or would to soften things, it's as vital as knowing the word for shirt.
It's the social side of it.
Exactly. And the source just weaves it in naturally.
So really looking closely at this simple beginner dialogue, it reveals it's actually a pretty sophisticated tool. It's giving you words, yes, but also functional chunks in context, using techniques like repetition and controlled speed.
All designed to build your confidence for that one specific, very common real-world task.
Its purpose is really focused. Give you the practical language to buy something. Turn something scary into something manageable. And the source often nudges you towards practice, right? Like a mini role play. So here's the thought. What happens when you take those clear, simple phrases like I'll take it, that you've heard and maybe repeated, and you actually try to use them in a conversation that's maybe a bit faster, a bit less predictable, even just imagining it? How does that shift the experience from just listening? And what does it really take to make those practice lines sound, natural when you're actually standing there in the store?
Yeah, moving from practice to reality. That's the real jump, isn't it? Something definitely worth thinking about.